Hey, I'm Lindsay Lyman. I worked almost 12 years at Amazon and saw so many brilliant and successful overachievers burn themselves out and leave their jobs because they're so stressed and anxious. But guess what? Having a successful career does not have to be at the expense of your mental sanity and personal time. There's an easier way, and I can show you how. Let's do this. One of the things I love is that I get to work with people in so many different phases of their career. I'm actually giving a workshop soon to a group of interns, people that are like just beginning, just starting. I also have clients that only have a couple more years and they're trying to figure out how do they enjoy their career before retirement. But there's something I've noticed these life cycles that we all go through no matter what phase in our career we're at that I want to talk to you about today. Because the thing is, most people come to me because they're feeling frustrated and stuck for some reason. Bad managers, they're burned out, they're not sure where to go next, they want to make more money, they want to get promoted, lots of different reasons, but it's some flavor of like they're just stuck and they don't know where to go. So I want to talk to you today about what this life cycle is and how do you figure out what to do when you are at that place where you're stuck and you're frustrated and you're burned out and you know something's got to change, but you're just not sure what and you're not sure how. So I want to tell you what this life cycle is, and then we're going to dive into a little bit more of how do you get out of that funk. So the first part, if we think of this life cycle as like as a virtuous cycle, like a circle that we keep going through over and over and over in different phases of our lives. So the first part of the career life cycle is what I call like the new and exciting phase. This is where you're learning a lot of things. You don't know what you don't know. You're not like jaded by past bumps and bruises and problems and things. Usually this happens when you start a new job. Maybe it happens like when you're fresh out of college, entering the workforce, or you're working at a new company, or you start a new team, or you're working on launching a big new project, okay? It's the like beginning new and exciting part. This is the fun part. It's like the honeymoon. It's amazing and you love it all and it's all great and wonderful and we're super optimistic and cheery. Awesome. I love this phase. From there, we go into the second part of this career life cycle, which is what I think of as like the learning phase. And this is where there's some growing pains, but they're good. Think of it like when you work out and you're sore the next day, but it's like this like good sore because you know your body is getting stronger. It's the same thing. It's like your brain hurts at the end of the day, but it's because you're figuring it out and you're doing hard things. You're coming up with new ideas. You're noticing gaps and you're finding solutions. You're making some progress. And in this learning phase, you're delivering and you're starting to see some results. Okay. So we're kind of out of the honeymoon phase and we're into this like learning and delivery phase. What happens then is usually we go into the third phase, which tends to be some flavor of the overwhelm phase, because now you see all the gaps and problems. As you're diving in and delivering things and finding solutions, you're identifying more problems than you have time to solve. Or in this phase, it's like the repeat problems. They come back and we're like, oh, we got to deal with this again. It didn't work last time. And we're just kind of overwhelmed because we're not sure what to do. In this phase, this is where we tend to work nights and weekends and not have the greatest balance between life and work. Because we're trying to hustle our way to get through the to-do list, to get through all the things we need to do, and then we're going to be able to rest. But this is just this overwhelm phase. In this phase, we tend to lose our cool and freak out when timelines change, when scope changes, when anything changes. I think of it as like, I'm a very visual person. I see myself when I'm in this phase, it's like I'm holding all this stuff. My arms are full of all these things and I can hold it all, and it's hard for me to move around, but I can hold it all. But if one thing shifts, it all just falls apart. Okay, this is like what I think of as the overwhelm phase. From there, the fourth phase we tend to go into is the frustration and stuck phase. This is where we start to just not really care. We like show up and we're kind of dialing it in, right? We're going through the motions. You just feel stuck. You want out. You know you're not in a good place. You know you need to figure something out, but you just have no idea how or even like where to go or what to do. Okay, so I'll give you an example of like what this cycle looked like for me at one of the first teams I worked on at Amazon. So I worked on a retail team, and when I first joined, it was super exciting. Amazon had recruited me to come and work for them, and it was kind of a shift in my career. I had worked in advertising for about 12 years before then, and this was a little bit of a pivot. I was learning so much. I like Amazon as a customer. I was getting to know my team, who are some incredible, smart people that I'm still friends with to this day. Like, it was so exciting and fun. And then I hit that like growing and learning phase, and I was past the like honeymoon, like, oh, this is awesome. And it was still fun. I saw areas where I could add some improvement, and I started implementing changes, and it was helping. I started delivering and doing my job. I was helping the team hit our KPIs, and I was adding some strategic insight to the team. I was growing and learning and working hard, but it was still fun. Okay. Again, it's not the honeymoon, like all new and exciting, but I'm still learning and delivering, and it was fun. Then, and again, this whole cycle took me, I don't know, 3-ish plus years. Okay. So it's not just like day to day. This can be over a span of time. So then I moved into the overwhelm phase because again, I could see all the problems and all the challenges, and I understood the complexity and the challenges we were up against. So they would hire someone new on the team, and they would be in that like honeymoon excited phase, and they'd be like, oh, we could do this, we could do this. And immediately my brain notices like, why it won't work, why it's going to be hard, why that's a terrible idea. Like I just am like Eeyore, okay, when I'm in this overwhelm phase. I was working ridiculous amounts of time. I was working crazy, crazy hours when I was in this phase. And my manager, whom I like and respect and still keep in contact to this day, kind of started dangling a promo in front of me, right? Like I had delivered, I had proven myself, and they were like, yeah, just keep going, keep doing the work, and we're going to give you this promotion. So I was trying to stay in it, but getting promoted didn't sound easy or fun because I was already working a lot. I was pretty maxed out. And the thought of having to like go above and beyond to move the needle, one, didn't feel like I had the time, and two, didn't feel like it was going to be easy, that I could like win and be successful at it. So I did actually get promoted, but it was like after that promotion, then I kind of went into this like frustrated, stuck phase. This is where it would be like the holiday peak season again would come around, and it was just like, ugh, it was like such a heavy lift, and I dreaded it before it even began. I was so jaded and just kind of going through the motions. I wanted out, but I also knew the grass is not greener on the other side. I don't really know what's out there. I do know Amazon reorgs every 6 months, so I'm not sure what am I really jumping into. I wasn't sure what to do. It all kind of looked unknown and had some red flags no matter what I found. And I just didn't have the time and energy to figure it out. But then something new came along, and I rotated teams to where I was helping launch a new category at Amazon. And I like went back to that same cycle where it was like exciting and new and fun. And I went through the motions again. So this career life cycle, so many of us go through multiple times in our career, is like, it's the new and exciting. Then it's the learning and growing pains. Then it's the overwhelm. Then it's the frustrated and stuck. So how do you get from frustrated and stuck back into that exciting phase again? For a lot of us, we spend way more time than we should in the frustrated and stuck. Because again, we're already frustrated and it feels hard and we're just uncertain and everything kind of looks not great and doom or gloom and we're not sure where to go. This is where when people get in this place, this is where I've seen a lot of people kind of like forced out of this phase, whether that's through a performance improvement plan and they get fired and they're forced to go find something new. I see that happen a lot. Not every performance improvement plan, a person's in that phase, but I've seen this a lot with people that are very successful and very good at what they do. They're stuck in this frustrated phase and they're not able to get themselves out, and their performance starts to be impacted by it. Caring leaders can identify this in people and like lovingly push you out, to go and find a new job, to find a new team, to find a new challenge. What you need to get out of this phase is something new and exciting for your brain to learn. I've also seen people that are stuck in this frustrated, stuck stage, like just desperate to get out and take anything that they can. I've also seen people like ride the coattails of someone else they trust and go follow them. This is what I did most of the time in my career at Amazon, is I had worked with enough different leaders. I knew who I liked and who I trusted, and I would see what team did they go and rotate to, and I would try to rotate with them, right? Because I also believe good leaders have good people that follow them. Leaders that would rotate into my team that didn't have anyone that wanted to come work with them, that was a big red flag to me, but that's another conversation for another day. So I personally, when I get in this stuck, frustrated phase, I love to look at where people I like and know working. I want to go work there. Okay. Again, there's no guarantees. The grass is not greener on the other side. Things will change, but it was just a safe way for me to go find something new and exciting. I don't think there's a wrong way to get out of this phase, and I don't think you should judge yourself. What's important is to note you're not learning, you're just stuck. Your learning curve is so slow based on where you're at. You got to go and you got to up your game. Sometimes this means you may need to go take a break and rest, and then you got to go hit go. But the reality is you're not going to be motivated in that same space. You got to move forward, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. What does that look like to move, to go find something new? It could be a new job. It could be a new company. It could be a change in scope. Maybe you're going to move from being an individual contributor, what I call an IC, to a manager. You're going to take on managing. That's a whole new thing you got to go and learn. Maybe you're going to stay an IC, but your scope is significantly going to increase. Okay, that's something new and challenging. You got to give your brain a new challenge to go and solve. So one way you can get out of this funk and into this excitement is to look at, how do I change the scope of the work I'm doing? Another way you can look at it is, how do I change the complexity? Again, moving to a manager becomes a lot more complex. Or maybe you want to move to being a manager of a manager. Or if you're an IC, how do I work on more complex, challenging problems that people in the world haven't solved, that there aren't examples I can go and look at, that I got to go and make up? Another way you can get out of this funk into this new and exciting phase is to really focus on, what sort of a new skill do I want to learn? Maybe you want to go try an opportunity with the purpose of learning some new technology. A lot of the people I'm working with right now, they're very brilliant, very smart, very successful people. And a lot of them want to get into deeper into the AI space. I'm like, awesome, go learn some new technology. There's so much out there. I think with AI, we are at this amazing crux of huge amounts of exciting new knowledge and information to be had and to be learned. It's exciting. It's fun. Go give your brain that challenge. Maybe one of the ways you want to get out of this funk and go get something new and exciting is you're going to totally change job fields. That's one of the things I loved about working at these large companies like Amazon, is they allowed for it and they encouraged it, because they know it keeps you excited and motivated and driven and coming up with these good ideas. One of the directors I worked for on a couple different teams, he started out in finance and ended up leading these organizations that were hundreds of people. Maybe you want to change industries. Maybe you're an SDE and you've been in the healthcare industry and you want to change to the retail industry, or vice versa. You can go and apply your skills, but in a new way that's going to force you to learn some new things. Maybe you're going to go and try to do something entirely new that no one has ever done. Like when I rotated from that first retail team at Amazon, it was exciting because it was a brand new category Amazon had never done or launched before. So there was so much learning and things we had to go and make up. Maybe you want to get into more of the philanthropy side of things and figure out, how do you take what you know and what you have and give back? Awesome. These are fun new challenges. A way to get out of the funk and into the excitement is to look at, okay, what's a new skill? You can do that through scope and complexity as well, but what's a new skill? And the last way to offer to you to think about this is okay, so you're in this funk. We know your brain needs a challenge. It needs something new to learn and be excited about. Go find that thing out outside of work. You may be at a phase where you're like, I make good money. I like the team on paper. My job's great. I'm just like frustrated and stuck and not motivated anymore. Okay. Go find a new thing outside of work. Get a hobby, try a sport, join an interest group, start your own group. Like there's so many different ways you could do this, but go find a new thing. If you feel stuck and frustrated, your brain is not challenged and learning in a way that's keeping you excited. You got to go find the thing. The key is to make sure you're learning and always have that new and exciting thing. And you want to make sure you're learning at a big enough pace that it's keeping you in the game. When you get to that overwhelm phase, usually it's because you've learned a lot and you've also learned what all the challenges and problems are, and it feels very big and hard to solve based on the tools you've been given to solve it. The frustration phase happens when now you're just stuck in the mud. Your brain loves a challenge. Give it one on purpose that sounds fun. All right, y'all. You're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon. If what you're learning from this podcast is helping, this is just the beginning. Each week, I offer a limited number of coffee chats so that you and I can connect one-on-one and talk specifically about what's going on for you. You'll leave this call feeling more hopeful and motivated, but I'm also going to teach you a few things to try right away to get unstuck. Space is very limited and these are free, so grab your spot before they're gone. Click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat and sign up today. You got this.